Ladies and gentlemen, meet the all-new Mini Countryman. In this review, I'm going to take it for a ride. I'm going to show you what's under the hood. I'm going to sit in the back seat, and I'm going to show you the way back, because this new Countryman is no longer a Mini, or at least a small car. It has now gotten substantially bigger. In fact, it's almost as big as the new Golf. So let's start where we always start, which is the new design. As you can tell, it's got a little bit more modern architecture in the front, a little bit less round headlight, and I don't know what you would call that. I'm going to go with rhombus, but I'm sure that's not a rhombus, so feel free to correct me. So it's a little bit more modern. I'm here at the BMW plant in Spartanburg, and as you know, BMW owns Mini, and this shares a platform with the new BMW X1. But of course, this is a Mini, which is odd because you'd think a Mini would be built in Oxford, the home of Mini, but this is built in Leipzig. So, you know, you've got a German vehicle with a lot of British character, or at least some British character. Let me know in the comments below if you like it. They've changed the taillights. Remember, the old ones were the old Union Jack, and people were confused because it looked like when the turn signal was turning left, the car was turning right. But we won't get into that because that is now ancient history. But I got to tell you, this new Mini looks like somebody stuck it in the oven and it went poof. It just got a lot bigger. And I've been saying that for every generation of Mini, but especially this Countryman is very big. And I know that because my mom actually owns the previous 2 generations ago Mini, and this guy is much bigger. So under the hood is, can you guess? I bet you can guess, because most German cars are this. And of course, just like any BMW, you got to pull twice. It's a 2-liter turbo that puts out 241 horsepower and is paired to a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, which is what most Minis have now. And, you know, it's plenty quick for a car that once upon a time was a go-kart. But there is some go-kart left in this, and I'll show that to you in a second. Now we are rolling on Pirelli P0s, and I believe these are 245/40 R20s, a Mini with 20s. Here, mind blown. Pretty soon we'll have 22s on a Mini. And then there won't be a lot of Mini left in a Mini. But what is unique to Mini and what is unique to this car is that you can really make it your own. You can really personalize it. I do like this blue cloth material, kind of this interesting pattern that goes from blue to brown. The seats are very nice. Giant panoramic sunroof, which comes standard on all Minis. And by the way, if you're curious, these start at about 39, and then go up from there. And if you want the all-new Mini SE, which is the all-electric one, then you're looking at about a $45,000 starting price. Now, big old chunky steering wheel, real buttons, which I like. And then Mini has gone minimalist, and there are very few controls. You've got your volume knob. You've got 8. I'll show them to you, different experiences. That's your kind of fake key that actually is kind of unique. And then that's your gear selector. But besides that, you've got, like I said, real buttons on the steering wheel. But that's about it. Your HVAC controls are in the screen, unfortunately. So if you're a fan of a screen, you're going to love the Mini. And of course, it's in the center and it's round. And a lot of people are saying round's not a great shape for a screen, but that kind of goes back to Mini's heritage. There's also a heads-up display, but it's not on the windscreen. It's on this little screen over here. So let's start this guy up. Or is it a gal? Turn off the windshield wipers because it's not raining. God, close all this stuff. And then what you can do is you can control everything from here. So for instance, fan speed. I missed it. Now how do I get home? How do I go home? I don't want to add a shortcut. See, this is the problem with screens, especially when you're driving, where they don't necessarily do what you want them to do. Now I've lost my home screen. Help! 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 Help me! Help me! Help me here. How do I get out of the screen? Mini, you need a home button. So, I know how to. Oh, there we go. I did it. So if you want to turn off the fan, I put it in reverse by accident. Put it back in park. If you want to turn off the fan, you hit the little fan button, and then you can take it down. which is nice because it's not making noise. But the most interesting thing, like I said, are these 8 experience buttons, and they do come along with a different sound. Core is the base one. Of course, if you want to go go-kart, listen. Woohoo! Then you get the screen that shows you your tachometer, your G's. Still, your temperature controls are on the side. Here's your fuel, here's your RPM, and then you can zip through these. So core is the basic one. Green, of course, is more fuel efficient. Changes this around. But my 2 favorite ones, I'm going to go through all these, are timeless, which harkens back to the old days of Mini. And that is, a very classic looking speedometer, along with, a fuel gauge, I suspect. Fuel gauge up there. Odometer. Look how classic that looks. And then the other favorite one I have, because I love off-roading, is not balance, is trail. So now, if you go off-road, you can put it in trail mode. You get a kind of a compass here, or you get an inclinometer there. And I do like the fact that they match the color of the Mini to the color that's on the screen. And that is sweet. So let's go to our basic go-kart mode, because we want to see how quick this is. And let's take it for a ride. Actually, before we take it for a ride, let's see how much room there is in the back seat. I almost forgot. I apologize. I know you've all been waiting to see, just how big this is. So right now I'm kind of sitting behind myself in the back, and we'll see if a 6'2" man fits. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Ooh, for a big car, that feels very tight already. So, legroom, not grand. Headroom, plentiful. 2 USB-C ports here. That's a nice, real little dial that closes and opens the vents. You've got a 40-20-40 setup here with a little armrest. But I have to say, I don't think I want to cross-country this in the back seat. And maybe because I've got this weird body where my torso is long and my legs are short, so I tend to sit way back. But I do feel a little, as you can tell, tight back here for my big American you-know-what. And then in the back, let's see how much room we have there. I'm here in Spartanburg at the plant, and so they're letting us test drive things, including that, which is the new Cullinan. And the reason you'd be wondering, why is there a Cullinan here, a Rolls-Royce Cullinan? And that, of course, is because Mini and Rolls-Royce are owned by BMW, and this is their test fest, so-called. The brand Lollapalooza. In other words, you get all the brands, and you can drive as many of them and review as many of them as you like. So not bad back there. Certainly good enough for a mid-sized dog. So how does it drive on 20s? Well, let's take it for a short spin around the block and see just exactly how fun this Mini is. Because, that's always been a thing about Minis, right? 2 things have defined Mini, at least under the Germans, under BMW, and that is the ability to personalize it, which of course you still have, and the fact that this has always been a car that's been fun to drive. So is it still fun to drive? I tell you, it's not that fun to shift because there is no manual. I kind of feel like the fun to drive part had a lot to do with the fun that you were rowing the gears yourself. But time has moved on. No reason to be grumpy, Roman, just because people have no longer cottoned to manual transmissions, which is a darn shame. But I gotta give them my pass here. I think they're gonna come by and take a look at who I am, and then we'll go out on the road. Howdy, how's it going?
Thank you, Roman.
Oh, you know who I am now.
Roman Micah.
All right, thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
Appreciate it. I'll be back in like 4 minutes. Okay, bye. As you can tell, this is not my first rodeo. That's another one I want to drive. I believe that's a new Matt M5. Woohoo! A plug-in hybrid. Who would have thunk? Huh? You? Did you believe that we'd be in an era where the M5 is dual power? By the way, here in Spartanburg, they do build all of the crossovers that BMW does, and this is BMW's biggest plant in the world. So, and South Carolina's biggest employer. So I've got a Ford. It's okay, it's fine. The steering is nice and tight. That may be because when you change the modes, you also change the throttle response, and you can see the RPMs are dropping. So it's a little sporty. I'm assuming that if you hear this exhaust note, that is fake. And it's a little nervous. It feels like I should be on a track and not on the road. So let me switch modes and see if it calms it down a little bit. I'll take it into the core mode. And I bet you yep, there go the RPM. They've just come down. And now it's much more relaxed and much more casual. I kind of feel like the sport mode would be good if you actually want to take this on the track. And of course, the question I'm asking myself, dear viewer, is how many people are actually going to take a Mini Countryman on the track? And the answer is, yeah, you know the answer. Not many. So, the bigger question, of course, and the question that I'm struggling with, is a Mini still a Mini when it's built on an X1 platform and has now grown to a rather bulbous and, dare I say, rotund, even large, at least for European standards, crossover? And the answer I'm coming up with is that I kind of feel like in America, we all value one thing above everything else, and that is convenience. And what's more convenient than a bigger, more comfortable Mini? And so I can see why Mini has taken this route, but at TFL, well, specifically Tommy, owns a classic Mini, the first generation, the one that established the brand, where the tires are pushed out to the ends and the engine is transversely mounted, and you can keep your hands warm because the hot air blows out the driver's side front wheel well. And those Minis are a blast to drive. People love them. They put a huge smile on people's faces. But on the downside, and especially here, I am getting to the point where when I take that car out with Tommy, I'm a little scared. And that, of course, is because there are no airbags. Your feet are the crumple zone. And in a country that loves its pick-em-up trucks, as you know, and massive, you zoom in on this, semi-trucks, that little Mini feels fun, but it feels dangerous. I mean, it's getting to the point where that classic Mini is kind of like, putting your leg over a motorcycle, where you got to seriously think about what the other drivers are doing. And I can see why Mini has gone this route. I mean, you'll never go wrong making a bigger Mini. But I wish, my heart says, I wish they had gone and actually made a smaller Mini. And they still have, of course, the classic Mini, but that has also gotten a little bit bigger over the years. But if you want kind of the personalization of the Mini brand, the go-kart-like ride, the quirky design language, and the unique interior, and yet at the same time you want to be able to fit your family and your dog and go to the park, or take your mother to church, or take your brother-in-law to lunch along with his family, this is the car to do it. So look what's ahead of me. I'm jumping in that next. Oh my God, that is the M5 Touring. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So guys, thanks for watching. As always, this is Roman saying go to alltfl.com for more news, views, and real-world reviews. And I'm going to see if I can jump into the M5 Touring next. And if you want to see that review, if I can get into that, just head on over, like I said, to alltfl, because that's the one that is the forbidden fruit, because for the longest time that was a car that we could not get here.